two-part session, so that if you only have time to do the stretch portion, you can bow out halfway through, or you can stick with me and finish a flow and do a full class. So today we're going to start on our backs. So nice and flat. Lower yourself down carefully. Get your bun out of the way. All your buns out of the way. You want a fairly flat back, but you also want to honor the natural curve in your low back here. And then just make sure your shoulder blades are evenly weighted on the floor. If you want to keep your knees up, if that's more comfortable on your back, go for it. Otherwise, stretch your legs out nice and long. That might encourage you to tuck your shoulder blades under even more. You want your palms up, arms at your side. Just take a few moments here to close your eyes and start to tune your awareness into your body. Paying attention to your breath at this moment. Don't necessarily do anything to change it, just it's a matter of meeting yourself where you are this morning and knowing where you're starting. Mindfulness in the moment. So scan your body, starting from your toes, moving up your legs, up your torso, down your arms, up your shoulders, neck, head. And just notice how you are feeling. Notice how your body is in contact with the floor, with your mat, the ground, wherever you are. And then start to deepen your breath. So a nice place to start is long inhales to the count of 5, and a small pause at the top, and a slower exhale to the count of 6, and a pause at the bottom. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and pause. And you can open your mouth here if you like, and side out exhale. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pause. Just take 2 more like that on your own. Make sure your neck is soft, you're not holding tension in your eyes. Forehead, jaw. Maybe set an intention for how you want to move through the practice today. I encourage you to be gentle with your body. I'm just making suggestions. I'm going to try to maybe not give so many cues today so we can move a little faster. So just honor where your body is, and if anything is creating discomfort, please make adjustments, get out, change, do whatever your body needs. All right, and on your next exhale, empty fully. And blink your eyes open, and then engage right away. So transversus abdominis, you hear me talk about this a lot. This is probably one of the most important parts of your body. It's these tiny little muscles, deep, deep, deep down in the core. If you can learn to engage them, like maybe 30% throughout life at minimum, your body will be a happier place. I've learned this in the last few years. So right away, feel almost like you're zipping up wet jeans here, and you can feel almost your tailbone kind of tipping down, your hip bones tipping a little bit more up. And then use that strength, draw your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. If your knees are cool, put your hands around them. If you have sensitive knees, put them behind your knees, behind your thighs. And keep your shoulders drawn down, and just rock a little bit back and forth, or side to side. Breathing, trying to maintain that slow, steady, intentional breath throughout class. You want to match up your movements with inhales and exhales the best you can. I cue it to a degree, but part of your own responsibility is following your own breath. It is an entire limb of yoga. There are 8. Breath is its own. These physical practices, these postures called the asanas, they're another limb. So there's a lot more to yoga than just twisting into shapes. I always say that. So anyway, find happy baby. So you want to put soles of the feet up to the ceiling, bend your knees, run your arms inside, like your elbows inside your knees, reach for the outside edges of your feet, And then just start to draw the knees down towards the chest. Feel the tailbone or the sacrum sinking down towards the mat. Gently opening up your thighs, your legs, even starting to wake up your arms. You can rock back and forth. Take a deep breath here. Maybe side out. And then bringing your knees back together. Interlace your hands around your right knee, your fingers around your right knee or behind your right thigh. Extend that left leg nice and long and give yourself a little squeeze. This is called wind removing pose. So first the shoulder up or the knee towards the shoulder, letting both legs relax, or both feet. Maybe give your right foot a little ankle circle here, one way and the other. And then very gently, we're going to start off with a gentle twist. So take the outside of your left hand to the outside of your right knee. Right away, extend your right arm, palm up to the ceiling, so at shoulder height. And just start to move into a twist. It's not about getting that left knee to the floor, or the right knee to the floor by any means. In fact, I caution you to not even, please try. Just start to feel this and maybe rock your head side to side. And think about that right hip moving away from your head towards your left foot. So that'll keep nice length to the spine, which is really important when you're twisting. Take some breaths here. Make sure your legs are relaxed. You're using the intention of your left hand to hold your leg in place here. Not really hold, but just secure. And then come back to center, a little squeeze in. See if you notice a difference. You might be able to bring that thigh a little closer and then bring that left knee up. And take a moment, pause. Like right away, I can already see my right knee is way closer than my left. Just a gentle little start here. So interlace your fingers around the left knee or left thigh and extend that right leg. And start off with just knee towards shoulder, so straight up. And then a little ankle circle. And then moving into the twist on this side. So right hand to the outside of the left knee, and that left arm extends, palm up, shoulder height. And then just stop that very first place your body gives you some resistance and relax your legs. Make sure you're not holding tension. Maybe rock your head side to side, return your attention to your breath. Keep that left hip reaching towards the left corner. One more exhale, or inhale, exhale. And then in your inhale, come back to center. Give yourself a squeeze. See if you've evened out a bit here. Extend your soles of your feet to the ceiling. And you don't have to straighten your legs here, but just think about the intention there. And flex your toes towards your nose. Feel your heels reaching up towards the ceiling and almost kind of away from you. And fire up the quads here and just go ahead and feel some length. You should feel some length down the whole back line. And maybe do another ankle circle. There's an old Chinese philosophy that if you roll your ankles every day, you won't die of a heart attack, so can't hurt. All right, so we're gonna rock onto our side here and then push ourselves up to a seat. And I'm gonna spin around so I can see you, or you can see me. All right, so we are going to, just in our first seat here. So go ahead and get your sits bones really nice in contact with the mat, so move the flesh of your buttocks out of the way. And your feet wide here. Prop yourself up on your hands and rock your knees back and forth just a little bit. These are kind of baby windshield wipers. Starting to sit up nice and tall. Oh, there's a baby bunny in the yard. The other day I was practicing and there was a little turtle cruising around my yard. Love it. All right. Now we're going to come to a seat. So you can either sit cross-legged. I don't like that as much for my body, but if you do, go for it. It's a great place to start. You also might want to consider elevating your hips, like tucking a blanket block underneath you. The other option that I like is called hero pose, which you come up on your knees and you stick a block, which I highly recommend always for your practice, and tuck your toes, and just sit your sits bones on that block. Find a place where it's secure. And sit up nice and tall. Right ahead of your shoulder, roll your shoulder blades back and then forward. Really exaggerating the motion here. Beautiful. And then hands on thighs. We're just going to move through some cow-cats here. So seated cow-cat. So it's a little bit different. So we just want to articulate the spine. So just gently moving into it. So to start, chest forward, tailbone back, engaging that belly, shoulders back, and then cat pose. So you might want to slide your hands down towards your knees, around your back, and let your head hang here. Inhale, cow pose. So think about a sway back cow, squeezing the shoulder blades, opening the chest, and then cat pose, dropping the head. Oh, that feels so good. I hope it feels good to you too. And then one more cow, and then cat. I want to do something, close your eyes if you feel awkward and weird, but just ground your palms down, kind of spin your fingers in so your elbows are pointing out, and we're just going to bend into one elbow and the other and kind of just do a little twists here. You want to feel like you're creating space from your right hip bone to your left shoulder, like a whole nice little twist, and just waking up the spine here. We're going to do some twists today, so getting a good start. All right, come back to center, reground, belly in, nice and tall, tuck your chin. Think about mountain pose here, so everything from your sits bones lined up. I mean, there are natural curves in your spine, which you want to honor, but just nice and tall space. And then on an inhale, reach your arms really wide, like you want to reach away, feel everything moving apart, and then sweep high. And make sure not to shrug your shoulders up to your ears. Make sure you always are drawing your shoulder blades together and your arms in their sockets. So beautiful. And then an inhale and an exhale, reverse reach, and then hands to heart center. Shoulder blades down, neck nice and long, chin tucked. Inhale, sweep high. And if you want to look up, go for it. Be super gentle on your neck. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Pinky fingers, you want your pinky fingers spinning towards the front, thumbs to the back. And exhale, release. Prayer. And then inhale, reach. Think about sitting heavy, reaching high. And this time, releasing your hands behind your back. Nice and long. Always reaching for length, but from an integrated place. And then clasp your fingers or reach for your opposite elbows, or just hands on pockets with your fingers down, elbows back. See what works for your body. I'm going to do an interlace here and then squeeze those knuckles down. So you're pulling apart with your fingers, which are interlaced, and you are reaching down with your knuckles. Tuck that chin, gauge that belly, and feel a nice opening across your chest here. And then look to the right, and then this is just chin to the shoulder here, so you're keeping your head upright. Oh, there's UPS man. Hi, Craig. He's gonna watch this video too, and he's gonna laugh. Okay, and then head up and head down. Sorry. And coming back up, and then sweeping high. And then this time we're going to release your arms down and then crossing, so hands to the elbows, or if you have a little bit more flexibility, you want to cross your elbows and then bring your forearms up so the backs of your hands are touching. Right away, draw your shoulder blades back and down and feel your elbows reaching forward. If you're hugging, kind of the same feeling. Just feel some space opening underneath your shoulder blades. There goes the UPS truck, it's so funny. Inhale high, and then the opposite. So this time the left arm underneath the right, and again, grab your shoulders, give yourself a hug, or press the forearms together, or fully intertwine the hands if that's accessible, and then sit up tall. And this time, think about the cat back, so tucking your chin and rounding your back, and still feeling your shoulder, your elbows drawing forward, and then release high, inhale, and then cactus the arms, so bending the elbows and feel like you're drawing a cable down here, Really squeezing. There's a lot of intention here. Your belly's strong. Inhale high. Beautiful. Hands to heart center. All right. Now shifting forward. We're going to move, just starting in table here. Now we're going to do something called gate pose. So get yourself squared up to start. So knees below hips, wrists below elbows or shoulders and elbows. And then we're going to step that right leg off to the side, and you want to think about that foot being in line with the knee, roughly. Doesn't really matter, toes, arch, heel, whatever. I like to have my toes pointed straight ahead, so they're parallel with the side of the mat. If it's more comfortable or secure to turn them out, that feels good too. And you want to tuck that left foot, and then just gently, you want to think about shifting your hips back, but that right foot is totally grounded, and you're supporting yourself with your left leg here. So this is your easing into it. You want to feel a stretch through the whole inside of your right leg. And then come back, inhale. And exhale, sink back. Think tailbone back, not hips to the left. Inhale, come forward one more time. Exhale. And maybe sink a little bit further here. If it feels good to drop your head, go for it. And then come back up, and then walk your hands back towards your body, and then you're going to bring yourself up onto that left knee. If you have sensitive knees, pad them. I should have said that earlier, always. And then make sure if you want to make any adjustments here so that your alignment is right, and then stand up nice and tall. So your knee is below your hip, below your shoulder, nice and tall. And then we're going to move into gate pose. So this right hand is very gently touching the right leg and never pressure on the knee, ever, ever in any pose. And then sweep that left hand high on an inhale, high, and then maybe reaching, feel that left hip moving to the left. You can support yourself with that right hand a little bit, but you really actually just want to be moving from this. Your strength is from the belly here, the transverses. And then you might want to look up. So really feel a side stretch, and this right, so left side is stretching, but the right thigh is also stretching. Your quad is fired up. Beautiful. And then release down. And then bring that right knee in line. Take a cow cat in this position in table. So cow, cat, let your head hang, arch that back. Come to table, and then step that left foot out to the side. And then move into, and that right foot is tucked, it stays tucked. And then move into the little adductor stretch here. So inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale forward, exhale back. And maybe stay here for a moment, maybe drop your head. And the more my body responds, the closer my hip sinks to my heel there. All right, so then walk your hands back. We're coming into gate pose. So make sure, again, that foot is in line, toes forward or toes a little bit out. Standing up nice and tall, getting yourself grounded, fired up in the left leg, and then sweeping that right hand high and over. And think about the right hip shifting to the right to counterbalance here, and that left quad keeping you stable. If you want to look up here, that can be nice. Just make sure you're not collapsing forward or back. You want things lined up. And then come back. Beautiful. All right, come back to table. And one more cow, cat, whatever. Whichever. And then we're going to walk our hands forward. Stand on your knees with your toes tucked. This is moving into puppies. So we're going to come down onto our forearms, and you can let your head hang here and really, really bear down with the forearms to traction and squeeze your shoulder blades together. And here, keep your hips above your knees. You can keep your toes tucked. If that feels good and you have a little bit more flexibility, you can get your forehead grounded and walk your hands forward so that their arms are a little bit more straight. And maybe tenting up onto the fingertips. Oh, this is a stretch all the way, the whole front side of the body. And find what feels good. And then walking yourself back up, we're going to move into downward dog. So hips up. So find your way roughly hips width, feet hips width distance, hands shoulder width distance. pinky finger or pointer fingers pointing forward, thumbs towards each other, and the rest of the hands fanning out. So really secure base here, pressing down through all four corners of the hand and the fingertips, and then firing up the arms. You want to think about spinning the eyes of the elbows a little bit forward. That'll give you a little bit of rotation in the shoulders. It'll keep them more secure in their sockets. Squeeze their shoulder blades together. Think about tailbone reaching high, and then nice long length down the back of the body, back of the legs, maybe pedal it out. Your feet, you should be about hips width distance apart. Make sure if you always want to know what your stride length should be, if that's the right word. Just shift forward to plank, and actually let's all do that. Shift forward to plank, and make sure the wrists are underneath the elbows here, and your belly is fired up, quads are fired up, heels are pressing back, reach the crown of the head forward, squeezing the shoulder blades. And then exhale, hips up, downward dog. Bending into one knee and the other. Think about squeezing those shoulder blades together and down the back, which, as I always say, is up the back in this position, up towards the ceiling. There's a difference between just kind of hanging out here and really securing, anchoring into the shoulder girdle. Come up high on your toes, heels up. Don't give yourself a calf stretch or a calf cramp like I just did. And then inhale, come back to plank. Try to find a little bit stronger plank here. Heels are reaching back. And then we're going to lower down, so knees down, or if you want to lower all one straight plank, but then brushing the elbows at the sides, bending them, coming down, lower all the way. And then untuck your feet, lengthen your legs out long. Untuck your toes, squeeze the legs together, walk the fingertips back so that they're in line with the shoulder. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, towards elbows towards each other, head looking down, and then fire up the legs, and on an inhale, just lift yourself up. Almost no pressure in the hands. In fact, if you want to try a baby cobra, you can, or not a baby cobra, what is it, a floating cobra? Hovering cobra. You can bring your hands up. Exhale, release your head down. Fire up the feet, press down with the toes. Initiate from the lower body, fire up the belly. Inhale, cobra, and maybe a little bit more in the arms, a little bit higher. And looking forward, not up. Release down. One more, starting with the toes, fire up the legs like a cobra tail. Inhale high, and really pressing down into the hands, and release down. Beautiful. And just for kicks, let's do a grasshopper really quick. So forehead down, walk your hands out to the sides at shoulder height. Tent up on the fingertips, elbows spin up towards the ceiling, cobra legs again, and then push into, and you want your hands just a little bit outside your elbows, or find out what works for you. It's kind of it's a balancing act. And then pressing in, inhale, pressing in, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Try to move towards straight, nice long stretch in the belly, but don't hyperextend your back. And then we're going to bend into the left elbow, which spins up to the ceiling, and drop the left cheek towards the mat. You can hover it, or you can rest it. Think about those elbows spinning up. Feel a stretch across the left pec, actually both pecs. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, right arm bends more, right cheek on the mat, looking towards the left, elbows up. Breathe. Next inhale, press yourself back up. Nice. All right, come back down to center. Walk your hands back, tuck your toes, and push yourself up. Downward dog. All right, pedal it out. All right. All right, sweeping the right foot high. That's called a three-legged dog. So you want your hips square here, hips in line. First, just feel extension, like you want to donkey kick the back of the wall. Think about that integrity in the shoulder girdle and the hands supporting you. Your left leg is fired up. And then stack your hips, so not really stacked, but just move in that direction. Keep your shoulders square though, you don't want to come up like that. And then bend your knee. This is called scorpion. And you want to think of that heel to the glute. And then kind of soften that stack and then make some hip circles here. One direction and the other. And then find square hips, straight again. And then we're going to shift forward into plank. We're going to squeeze our knee to nose. This is called cheetah or mountain climber. Sweep high. actually just need a tricep, right tricep. And then as gently as you can, lower that right foot into a lunge, but on the outside of that right hand. And your toes can be turned out a bit. This is a little bit of a lizard lunge here, so maybe bend a little bit into the elbows. You'll probably feel this on the left leg. And then grounding down, make sure that left hand is directly underneath the shoulder. Get your hips square, so they might want to be shifting to the right, but get them square here. So think about drawing that right hip back, left hip forward, ground down into the left hand, and then sweep that right arm high. Keep thinking about that right knee, well, grounding down just firmly. You can have it pressing towards the left elbow if you like, but reaching high. If you want to look up, go for it. Take a breath here. And then we're going to sweep that right hand down in front of the knee, but behind the left arm, and keep your torso kind of where it was, but engaged so that you're really reaching with that right arm. Inhale high. Sweep, exhale. Inhale high. And release. And we're going to do something kind of cool. It's called horizon lunge. So what you're going to do is kind of walk that left foot up a little bit. Walk your hands. You know what? Forget it. We're running out of time. We won't do that one. Never mind. So just step back, downward dog. I could teach a 3-hour class. All right. Let's move through the other side. So sweeping that left leg high, hips square. Make your foundation with the arms. Feel like you're kicking the wall behind you. Think about that right heel lowering, and then that left hip over the right, a little baby stack. First finding height, keep the shoulders square, and then bending that left knee, kicking that heel towards the glute, and then maybe some hip circles. And you might want to shift back like out of that stack a bit to do this. And then finding length, square hips, squeeze your knee to nose, cheetah. Sweep high, inhale. Squeeze knee to nose, cheetah. Tricep. And then left foot outside left hand, so it's a bit wider stance. Maybe find a little bit of that lizard action. Think about drawing that left hip back, right hip forward. All right. And then grounding down, so that right hand underneath the right shoulder, grounding down, sweeping high with that left arm. And actually think about spinning the eye of the elbow forward on that right arm, so there's some external rotation. And then exhale, dive that left hand down and squeeze. So it's almost like you're doing a crunch here. Inhale, exhale. So you're keeping your torso nice and square, but you're really reaching with the left. One more. Beautiful, and then return to center. And then we are going to step back. We're going to shift forward into plank. Lower down, knees first if you like, otherwise one long line, elbows brushing. This time we're going to move into locust. So untuck your feet, reach your arms back, palms down, neck nice and long, so looking down, forehead on the ground. Squeeze the shoulder blades, squeeze the legs, and inhale, first pick the arms up, but don't lift the gaze, just look towards the top of your mat. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, reach towards the back of the room here. Try to lift yourself up with your back strength. If you want to bring your legs up too, go for it. Take 2 or 3 deep breaths here. You're reaching so much towards the back that you're feeling stretch in the whole front of the body. One more. And release. Beautiful. Press yourself up. Downward dog. Walk it out. And then we're going to walk our feet wide towards the edges of the mat here, a nice wide downward dog. And then walk your hands back. And we are going to bend our knees, let our toes flare out in about 45 degrees, maybe not quite that much, so they match the angle of the knees, and sink your hips down. This is Malasana. So take your time getting down there. It's not just an immediate sink, and if you need to adjust, if that's a little bit too wide, creating a more stable base. You want to think about tailbone lengthening down and shoulders up and back, and then hands in prayer, pressing the knee elbows against the knees, and then maybe rocking a bit side to side here. And you can feel, usually the body lets go pretty quickly in this position, so you can feel your hips sinking, and in that case you want to think about the pendulum, your upper body coming up and your tailbone lowering. Probably feel a nice stretch in your calves here too. And then we're going to take the left hand down, maybe on the fingertips, really press that left elbow into the left knee, and sweep that right arm wide and high. Inhale and release. Right hand down, a little prop for your right side, elbow and knee. Sweep that left arm high. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Press down your hands, hips up, toes in, heels out this time. Wide-legged forward fold. Maybe reaching for your opposite elbows here. Maybe swaying a little bit back and forth. Releasing your hands, walking yourself forward to a wide leg plank, lowering your knees, bring your heels in. And you can either have, we're moving to child's pose, you can either have your knees out and your feet together, or you can have your knees together. I like that. And sink your hips back towards your heels. Don't have to ever reach, and let your forehead reach down from the mat. If you like your arms forward, outstretched, go for it. Otherwise, another option is traditional baby child's pose with your palms up, arms behind you. Take some deep breaths here. And if you are moving on, stick with me. If you're not, stay in child's pose for a few more moments and just let that settle in. And then slowly return to the rest of your day or night.